that, let's dive into something that sounds a lot like science fiction, but it's happening right now. We're looking at a groundbreaking new kind of PET scan, and this isn't about just finding cancer. No, this is designed to light up a tumor's very specific weakness. This could literally be a roadmap that changes everything about how doctors choose the right treatment for the right patient from the very beginning.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What if, before you even start a single dose of therapy, a doctor could look at a full-body scan where the tumor's Achilles heel is literally glowing? That's the dream, right? To get beyond educated guesses and have precise visual proof of what's going to work.
So, to really get why this is such a game changer, we first need to talk about this really clever idea in cancer therapy. It's called synthetic lethality. And it's basically like finding a secret vulnerability, a hidden weakness in the cancer cell's own defense system.
Okay, so here's how it works. Your healthy cells, they have two main ways to repair their own DNA, kind of like two different locks on a door. But some cancer cells, especially those with BRCA mutations, are already working with a handicap. For them, one of those locks is already broken. Now, this is where a class of drugs called PARP inhibitors comes in. They are like a special key that's designed to jam the second lock, the backup one. Now, for a healthy cell, that's no big deal. It's still got the other lock working. But for that cancer cell, it's lights out. With both repair systems down, it just can't survive. And that's why these particular cancer cells can be up to 1,000 times more sensitive to these drugs.
So the mission is clear. We have to find the patients who have this broken lock. But our current tools, well, they're not great. A tumor biopsy is invasive, it carries risks, and it only gives you a tiny snapshot of one little piece of the puzzle. And genetic tests, they can tell you if the mutation is there, but they don't tell you anything about the activity of the key enzyme involved, which is called PARP-1. And that's why the researchers said a non-invasive way to see this is urgently needed. And this is where the genius of this study really kicks in. To solve this problem, these researchers developed what you can basically think of as a biological flare gun, something designed to spot that weakness from totally outside the body. It's a PET radio tracer with a technical name, 18F-FTT, but forget the name. Just think of it as a smart flare. It's not a drug that kills anything. It's a tracer that's engineered to do one thing and one thing only: travel through the body and stick directly to that PARP-1 enzyme, the exact target of those special key drugs we were talking about. So where there's a lot of PARP-1, the flare sticks, and on a scan, the tumor starts to glow.
And the actual process is incredibly straightforward. First, the patient gets a simple IV injection of this flare. Then, for the next hour and a half, it just circulates through the body, finding and binding to its target. After that, the patient just goes through a standard everyday PET CT scan. And the result? A beautiful, detailed 3D map showing PARP-1 activity all over the entire body. All of that without a single cut.
So, the flare gun idea sounds amazing in theory. But what happened when they actually tried it out on real patients? Well, this is where it gets really fascinating. The results are like a series of clues, all revealed by this incredible glow. Okay, first things first. Did it work? Yes, absolutely. The study looked at 52 patients with all kinds of advanced cancers: breast, ovarian, prostate, you name it. And the most important finding was that they saw the flare light up tumors in all 52 patients. It worked. The flare was able to find the cancer and make it glow, no matter what kind it was. But it gets so much more specific than that. The researchers didn't just see a glow. They saw that the intensity of that glow, how bright it was, seemed to be tied to the tumor's specific genetic code. And this is a huge connection to make. Just look at this chart. Now, SUV max is just a scientific way of measuring how bright the glow is. And what this data is showing us is that tumors with a very specific BRCA2 mutation glowed significantly brighter than tumors with other kinds of DNA repair issues. Since we already know that BRCA2 tumors can be super sensitive to PARP inhibitors, this is a massive clue. It suggests that a brighter glow might just predict a better response to the treatment.
And then the plot thickens with the third clue. It turns out that a patient's treatment history can actually change how bright the glow is. And this is a really big deal for doctors trying to make a decision.
This chart just spells it out. You see those tumors in patients who had never had a PARP inhibitor before? They glowed really bright, a median brightness of 6.4. Now compare that to the patients who had already been treated with these drugs. Their tumors were way dimmer, down at 4.7. This could be a clear visual sign that the tumor has started to develop resistance, which is absolutely critical information when you're planning the next treatment step. So, what does this all add up to for the future? Well, we could be looking at a huge shift, moving away from treating cancer broadly and toward treating it with incredible pinpoint precision, all because of this new way of actually seeing the disease.
This is why this stuff matters so much for patients. It's about finding the right key for the right lock right from day one. It means we can potentially spare people from the awful side effects of a treatment that was never going to work for them anyway. And instead of one tiny biopsy sample, doctors get a full-body map of their target. This could really be the dawn of a much smarter, more personalized era in cancer therapy.
Now, this study is a phenomenal first step, but it's really important to remember that it is just that, a first step. The researchers are very clear about what we know now and what they still need to figure out.
So here's the crucial takeaway. This study proves the flare gun works and that it can reveal these really important clues. But, and this is the big but, what it doesn't do yet is prove that a brighter glow directly means a better outcome for the patient. That is the next absolutely critical step. The good news is, future studies are already being planned to connect that dot. The ultimate goal here is to use these scans not just to pick a treatment, but to watch it work in real time, to literally see the glow dim as the therapy does its job. And that just leaves us with this one really powerful thought. We went from treating cancer based on where it was in the body to treating it based on its genetic code. The next giant leap might be treating it based on what we can physically see in real time, glowing right there on a screen. The question really isn't if we can see a tumor's weakness anymore, it's how are we going to use that incredible knowledge to change everything.